I did not believe in love. I pretty much gave up on meeting a guy. I was convincing myself that I'm gay and I was trying to make out with one of my friends who was a lesbian. I was partying a lot. I was drinking way too much, blacking out, going to events while I was blacked out, and just really hating on men. So there is so much separation going on right now between men and women, and I literally see it on both sides. As a woman myself, I do see more of the woman's side, on social media, in videos, in reels, just women hating on men. Men suck, they're all jerks. Be single, dating's the worst. Guys are the worst they have ever been, stuff like that. And on the men's side, it's stuff like women are so proud, they just want to do everything for themselves, they don't need a man anymore. And then, there's this side where guys are like, like Andrew Tate stuff, where they're just like, I want control over my woman. You're in the house while I work, stuff like that. And it's definitely a problem. So I wanted to make a video around this about how I actually found someone amazing. We've been together for over 2 years right now. It is my healthiest, happiest relationship right now. And I wanted to make this video sort of as a beacon of hope for anyone that is hoping to find someone special and they've pretty much just given up on it. So before I get into the 3 steps, I just wanted to talk a little bit about myself because I was very hopeless, and I think telling you about me will really give you some hope. So I have pretty much been single most of my life. I did not date anyone in high school, in college. I had a relationship for 3 years, and when we broke up, I was just broken pretty much. I couldn't date for a very long time. And 4 years later, I ended up dating someone that I knew back in college years ago. He wasn't a stranger, so it felt comfortable. We dated for about 6 months, and that was kind of a nightmare. I did not realize he was such a narcissist, and I really, really wish him well. I actually have no hate toward him, but I realized that in the beginning, he would shower me with, love and, oh, I really like you. He said I love you way too quick, stuff like that. And, later on, he started to really show his true self, and he seriously had a drinking problem and would have to drink every night just to fall asleep. I really wish him well. I'm actually very happy I dated him because after I dated him, I told myself, there are worse things in life than being single. Like, dating someone like him is way worse than being single. And after we broke up, oh my gosh, let me tell you, I was happy. I did not want to date. I was not interested in dating anyone. I just loved being single, doing my own thing, going out with friends, drinking, partying, just enjoying life. I've never felt, I've only had a few relationships, but after dating him, it's like all of those songs about hating men, I just felt them in my bones. I was like, yeah, this guy, all these songs that are just like, screw you, you suck. And I was feeling them so much at the time. So, of course, after this entire experience, I pretty much hopped on the I hate men crazy train. I was not interested in dating. And also, just to mention, I've never used a dating app in my life, and I have nothing against it. I've downloaded the app. I've messaged a few people, like literally maybe 2 people, but I never met anyone in person, and I always felt very uncomfortable on the app. Like, I felt like I was a commodity, like I was just in a game, like a card game where you're just flipping through cards. And I personally feel like dating apps kind of turn people into a game, and it sort of makes them feel replaceable. So to this day, yes, I have never really used an app to meet anyone. So at this time, I was pretty much just drinking a lot, partying, enjoying life, kind of going wild. I was also trying to convince myself that I was gay. I mean, most of my friends were gay, and I thought it would be easier if I was just gay. So there were times where I made out with women, and there was even a time I got really wasted and I tried to make out with a friend, and she was like, "I know you're not gay. Like, you're pretty, but no, it's you're not gay." And I was so embarrassed about that night. I still remember waking up the next day and I felt disgusting, and that was probably the last time I really drank a lot. And the thing is, at this time I was working remote. I was just traveling a lot. I was not even staying in one location for very long. So, being in a relationship was not on my mind. I was not interested in it. I was kind of like this floating person, and I enjoyed it at the time, but I think I always knew deep down I really did want to be in a relationship. I think I've always wanted to. I think I've always been a romantic, but I've given up on it, and something in my subconscious told me I'm not meant to be in a relationship. It's not going to happen for me. I'm not the girl that is going to find someone. So now you understand where I was in this whole mindset and situation. It was not a very hopeful place to find a relationship or even believe that I could find someone. So now we're going to move to the first step. And what that is to change your mindset on men. And let me tell you, this was a difficult one for me because before that, I literally told myself, all men are jerks. I hate all men. Straight men suck. They're all assholes. They're all douchey, you know, people that just suck. And I really had to question that. I remember just finally telling myself, why do I keep telling myself how much I hate men? Like I was thinking it so much that I began to notice it, and I was like, I don't think this is healthy. Even if I wasn't even going to be in a relationship, constantly thinking that men are terrible people and I hate them was not a healthy mindset to have. And that's when I started to look at it differently. I was like, okay, there are good men out there. I have straight guy friends who are great people, amazing people. And I started to think about all the straight guys I knew who were nice people. And then I was telling myself, okay, guys are, not all men are bad people. I then started to just notice it in my daily life, going to coffee shops, meeting up with friends. There would be like, a straight guy here and there, just walking by, passing by kind of thing. And I was like, he's a nice person. Like, he's not a bad guy. I wasn't even interested in them. I was just realizing there are good guys out there. Like, what am I talking about? And I really had to think about this because I genuinely think there are more good men out there than there are bad. Yes, there are terrible men out there. And I do think a lot of them are very powerful people. But I think when you look at the numbers, like actual men out there, I really do think there are more good men out there than bad men. We just see the bad guys in the news, in social media, in music, and that's what sticks out to us and makes us believe this. Okay, now we're moving into the second step. And I do think this is probably one of the hardest steps for most people, and that is let go of the feeling of needing to be in a relationship. I know that this is a hard one, but for me, I was 32 at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm in my 30s, I'm past, the dating age, stuff like that. And I think I just kind of accepted it. I just finally told myself, you know what? I might be single for the rest of my life, and that's okay. I, I'm okay with it. Like, there are so many women out there who are happy and single and they love their lives. And it was around that time that I was seeing all this data and statistics saying single women are the happiest. So I was just like, if I stay single, I think I'll be okay. I don't think I'm gonna die or anything. And one of the things that I did, which really mounted how much I believed that I was gonna be single, was I actually thought about freezing my eggs. I even went to an IVF place so that they could look into freezing my eggs. I didn't do it because I did meet someone. But, I pretty much was imagining myself being single with a kid because I didn't want a child then. I wasn't ready, but I knew that I would want to have a kid in the future. And I did not think I was going to meet anyone. So, yeah, I just figured, you know what? I'll freeze my eggs. I will have a kid later on, and I'm going to live a great life. But the reason behind this is because I feel like we always exude a certain energy, and the energy of desperation is not that attractive. So you pretty much just have to be whole with yourself. You have to accept just being with yourself all the time and possibly never having a relationship. Okay, now for the third and final step. Embody the person that you would want to date. Who is the type of guy that you want to be with, or girl? So for me at the time, I was not drinking, I was not partying, I was focused on my career. I actually just got promoted to senior designer around the time that I met him. I was eating healthy, I was going to yoga, I was working out early in the morning. I was literally being the type of person that I would want to date in a guy. And I truly felt happy on my own. I was just enjoying life. I was so happy that I got promoted and I was hanging out with amazing people, just loving life. And that was when it happened. So I'm going to tell you how we met because honestly, it is so, so cute. And I really hope that it inspires you. Anyways, it was pretty much days after or a day before I got promoted at my job, and I was just in a really good mood. I spent the entire year working so hard at my job. I was speaking up, I was talking to CEOs, I was creating presentations, and I was proud of myself for facing my fears. And I really felt like I was at the finish line. This promotion's going to happen. I could tell that people were very amazed by my work and my work ethics at the time. Anyways, one of my friends told me about a coffee shop to check out. She said, "Oh, there's this coffee shop near you. You should just check it out sometime." So just randomly one morning, I walked to that coffee shop, and that's where he was. And this coffee shop is actually a CrossFit slash bakery slash coffee shop. And he was just sitting with his friends. I think there were four people there. I was in such a good mood. And he just talked to me. He was sitting right next to me. He was just like, "Oh, I like your hair." And I was like, "Oh, your hair is cool too." And we both had bleach blonde hair, which was so funny. And I just started chatting with them. Everyone was so cool. I loved their vibes. And he was like, "I think I've seen you in yoga." And I was like, "Yeah, I go to yoga room." And he was like, "Oh, me too." And he's like, "Oh, we should go together." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So I gave him my number, and I didn't think anything of it. He was actually sitting next to a girl, and I literally thought that was his girlfriend. So I was like, "Oh, great, another friend, everything's great." And a couple days later, he just messaged me. He's like, "Hey, me and some of the friends you met the other day, we're all gonna get dinner and we're gonna go watch a movie." And the movie was Poor Things. And I really wanted to watch that movie anyways. And I had nothing planned because I wasn't really going out much. I was just working a lot at the time. So I was like, you know what? I deserve this. I deserve to have fun. And I met up with them. And I still wasn't thinking of him like that, you know? But we were just chatting and we just had a lot in common. And I realized the more that we began to talk, the more that we had in common. First of all, we were the same age. I'm actually 3 months older. I'm a cougar. Oh, yeah, I'm a cougar. But yeah, we're the same age pretty much. And we lived like a minute away from each other. What are the chances of that? Literally, I could walk to his place in a minute. So we were neighbors. We were both tall, skinny people. Oh, and the biggest shocker for me, we both began solo traveling and we both went on this big trip on our by ourselves at the exact same age. So I really liked that he understood that feeling of going out on your own and finding yourself type of thing. That's when I really started to see a connection. Because for me, I feel like I have to get to know who the person is before I even start to like them. It doesn't really matter to me how attractive the person is as long as I like who they are inside. And this guy was amazing. Just such a nice guy. That's why he's my boyfriend. Um Anyways, the next day he just messaged me and he was like, "You want to get brunch?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's do it." So we got brunch. It was good. We were just chatting, having a nice time. And then we went to the mall nearby, bought some sushi, and then we went to the park, which was right by the mall. And I just kept saying stuff like, "Oh, I want to do stuff that scares me. I like facing my fears." And then that's when he kissed me in the park, and it was so cute. Oh, literally could be in a romance movie or something like that. Anyways, later on, I actually found out that he had already seen me multiple times. We crossed paths once. He saw me in yoga class. We were even on the same flight because I was traveling with one of my friends. We were in Prague and we were on the same flight, almost sitting near each other, going back to Portugal. So he noticed me all of these times. I honestly didn't even notice him. So I guess when he said he talked to me, he didn't feel nervous because he already knew I was a nice person. He already saw me like in yoga class, walking around the street. So he kind of felt like he already knew me. But I was embodying the person I wanted to be at the time. I was going to yoga. I was not out late at night partying and getting wasted. Anyways, I really couldn't believe all of the synchronicities, like the same age, living near each other, crossing paths multiple times, going on this solo trip the exact same year at the same age. It just honestly felt like the universe conspired this relationship. And I'm so happy that it did. It's really nice to be with someone. I really enjoy being in a relationship, especially I think it's because I have been single for most of my life and I've experienced single life and I really did enjoy it. Sometimes I miss it, but I love being in a relationship. I think it works for me. Okay, so now I really want to talk about being in the relationship. Because just because you're in the relationship now does not mean the end, happy ending, life is perfect, nothing bad is going to happen. Bad stuff happens, trust me. Especially when I first moved in with him, I lost my job at the time because I was in another country. So I think I was grieving and I needed a lot more attention at that time because I was a senior designer for a year at the time and I just needed more attention. I was grieving this person that I was. I realized I put a lot of my identity into my job. So losing my job was really difficult for me and I needed just lots of attention and now that we were living together, we were around each other all the time. He needed to work and that's when I realized I'm being too much on him. Like I really had to take myself out of my body and just look at it from an outside perspective. And I had to deal with it myself. And it was difficult. So yeah, we've had a lot of ups and downs. There were many moments where I felt like he was a workaholic, he's not emotional enough. He is autistic, so he's not very good at reading signals on people. So we had to work through that. But the good thing is I am extremely honest. I do not keep things in. I'm not the type of person that does not say anything and waits for the guy to get the signal or whatever that is. So I just speak my mind, even though sometimes it's bad and I can be a bit of a drama queen. I say it, I get it out of my system, I feel better. And I actually think that helped a lot. He actually really appreciated how honest I was because he told me I have trouble reading people in past relationships. This was the problem because they wouldn't tell me how they were feeling. So it actually did work. And the first year was a little tough, a little bit of bumpy roads. But I can say right now, we're doing so great. And I've learned so much in this relationship. We both had to make changes. We both had to evolve together because being in a relationship, your life has to change a little bit. You have to make time for this person. You and the other person need to compromise in some sort of way. You don't have to completely change yourself, but you do have to make changes because you're in a relationship now. And we both did that. And I really, really appreciate that he's always willing to try something. If we want to like fix a problem in our relationship, we're both willing to make the changes and fix it. And that was such a key thing that I've learned and I'm so grateful for. But I did want to just mention that because it is work once you're in the relationship. It's not like perfect. I think it's worth it though. I really, really hope that you find someone. I do think it's possible. There are good guys out there. I really think following these steps will help you to get there. Yeah, I just really hope that this video helps you out. Thank you so, so much for being here. Let me know in the comments if this inspired you or not. And thanks again.